to work with because it wouldn't stick to itself. It also would slide around on you when you're trying to shape it. That second half, that second third is going to come over, and I usually use two hands. I use my left hand to turn the last one over to like that, and I use my heel of my hand to do it as I go. That's the way I like to do it. Mark Sinclair, on the other hand, had it in this direction. He was doing it away from him. And he would do it where he would pinch and pinch and pinch and pinch. And as he's going, you can kind of see what he was doing because it was facing the camera. But the idea there is still the same. Good little seam. If he felt like it wasn't creating a very good seam, he'd make sure he went back and got it. He also went to the ends and kind of turned those in and gave those a good pinch, just to make sure it was all sealed well. I think that makes it a little tight, but I think he made beautiful baguettes. But from there, the dough just needs to be shaped. And all we're going to do is we're going to roll it out. I'm going to keep an eye on my seam. As I roll it out, I try to keep it even. And at the ends, I give a little bit of a taper at the end, so it has a slight point to it. A real baguette is going to have, it's going to gently taper, just like the French rolling pin. It tapers down. Now, this one's a little bucky, but I can see my seam here. My seam is there. I'm going to go ahead and put it seam side up in my couche. And I'm going to fold the couche up so that it kind of cradles that dough. I have the couche well impregnated with flour, of course, to make sure it's not going to stick. Let's try the next one. You're going to get some good practice with these because that's the idea of doing a lot of loaves. We don't need this many loaves for anything. We're not selling or anything like that. But if you don't have a lot of loaves to work on, you're not going to get any practice. Here's how I do it. I like doing it with the heel of my hand. I start from the center. I try not to overwork the dough. I try to be very gentle with it. So that's a nice size. Just go a little bit more.
So now you're doing it your way. Do you still pinch and tuck the end?
I don't. I don't bother. I find my taper does that. As I come down to the end, my taper takes care of keeping the end sealed.
Awesome. All right.
As I turn it around, I look here for my seam. My seam's right there. So I'll put that seam side up in my couche. I do seam side up. The reason why is because when I go to put it in the oven, I want to put it in seam side down. I do it consistently one way so that I never forget where the seam is at. Because if I go and put it in the oven and I put it seam side up in the oven, it could very easily open up and unravel in the oven. And that'll make for very unattractive looking loaves. So instead of wondering where my seam is, I always do it the same way, just to remind myself. It's sort of like when if you're a photographer and you work in the darkroom and you're in absolute darkness, you can't see anything. You make sure to set things where you're going to find them easily, and you set yourself up a routine. Just like any time, when you need to do it right, you always set yourself up for that. And that routine is going to make sure that you get it right every time. Yeah, if you put one up, one down, or all the people in your team put it in different places, you'd be really confused. You wouldn't know where the seam is at, and it's hard to see. So when I'm doing it here, I'm just doing it toward me, 1/3 at a time, and then I use my left hand to do the second third, and I go a little bit left and right, left and right, left and right. And the right hand to seal the seam. You can see the seam right across the top, and the seam is really obvious. There it is. You can see it really well in that part of the video, in that part of the screen, and it's sealed. So I'm going to start in the center, and I try to be gentle. If you're too rough with your dough, what's going to happen is you're going to pop out a lot of the gas, and then it's going to be a very tight interior, very tight and very dense interior to your loaf. There's my seam again. Let's put that seam side up. Now, if you want a tight, dense interior, that's your personal business, but I can buy a tight, dense baguette anywhere, including Walmart and so forth. Why would I want to go through all this trouble to create a Walmart thread? I wouldn't. Instead, I'm going to probably go through the trouble to create something better. And that's what the idea here is to create something that's got more open crumb on the inside, more of the open holes, something with much more of a lovely appearance. And of course, better flavor and texture. Alright, so if any of you want to come up and watch directly, you can. You don't have to watch this through screens. I know these guys on Team 1 are working right now, and they're kind of standing up. But if you'd like to come up and watch, I've got quite a few more loads here to do. And as I'm doing these, if you want to see how it's done directly, you're welcome to come up.